Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a book review of No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. I don't have a physical copy of it, I read it on ebook. Now, first of all, No Country for Old Men, I loved this book. It was really good. I mean, I do really like Cormac McCarthy. He's got a very particular writing style and way with words that I know some people don't necessarily like, but personally it works for me really well. So, first of all, No Country for Old Men is classified as a thriller. It's set in Texas in 1980. And the plotline of it is actually relatively simple. It is about one guy, a hunter, called Llewellyn Moss. He's hunting in the woods, unsurprisingly, and he comes across a scene of mass murder, quite simply. It's a drug deal with what looks like the Mexican drug cartel of some kind. A sort of stereotypical image, and there's several of them dead, and there's vans that's been shot to pieces. Oh, and there's also happens to be several kilos of heroin and over $2 million in cash. He decides to take the cash quickly and run for it. He knows that obviously this is not just going to be forgotten about, that people will be on the way and indeed are going to be looking for the money and therefore him. Basically the whole book is him trying to get away with over £2 million in drug money whilst not being arrested by the police, because the police are obviously interested in it because of all the dead Mexican drug members. And also there is a certain Mr. Anton Sugar. He's a bit of a mysterious figure. He's one of the best characters in a book I've read about for a long time, and he's certainly the best sort of tough guy in a book as well, because he's so merciless. He's just genius. You don't know very much about him. You get the indication he may have been some kind of ex-military of some kind, and he's just merciless. He's just after Llewellyn constantly throughout the book. He's just hunting him down, and he doesn't mind who he kills. So there is a considerable body count throughout the book. I mean, if you don't like books about people getting shot and killed and that kind of thing, then this might not be the book for you. And also the policeman, he's obviously after Llewellyn and after Sugar, because he knows that something about him, but he doesn't know exactly who he is. He just knows there's somebody going around killing people. Now the characters in the book, as you can probably guess, are really well developed. I mean, there's not lots of characters. Really, the only three primary characters you learn about are indeed obviously Llewellyn, Sugar and the sheriff, but they are developed really well, and the interaction between them is very interesting, obviously especially between Sugar and Llewellyn and the sheriff, because obviously they both know of him as such, but they don't know who he is. He's just somebody that the sheriff wants to get hold of and Llewellyn wants to get away from. The world building is good. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's Texas in 1980. So it's already sort of fairly explained what it is. I mean, it's, you know, it's not an imaginary place, of course. So you already have an image of what that environment is like. But it is well described, and the characters do go through it in a realistic way. The language that McCarthy uses, like his other books, he does try to make sure his books are very regional. Even the character's speech doesn't use punctuation very much, and I actually think it works quite well. You do really get into the spirit of them being from that part of the world and the history and that kind of environment. And indeed, the book actually has a very Wild West feel to it, which I personally think is quite an interesting one and actually works really well, and it's really a fun book because of it. The underlying theme is that it's a very dark, grim world that we live in, but there is a will to survive, the human spirit and our drive to survive under any condition. So the message is actually quite a nice one, I think. I mean, brutal, but really good. So, in summary, it's a dark, unforgiving and relentless book filled with action and focusing on personal character development of the three characters, as I've said. I've given it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads without question. This book is brilliant. So I'd recommend this to anybody who likes action books and thriller books, and also anybody who has a interest in westerns, because it really does have a very distinctive western feel, despite not being obviously a western. But of course it's Texas. So that's it for my review. If I've missed anything out, please let me know in the comments below, of course. All links will be in the description box below, including social media links like Twitter and Goodreads. And that is pretty much it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.